That was one of the things that I heard early on when I got into real estate investing was that good times or bad times, people always need somewhere to live.
Hmm.
And so, having hard assets like real estate is always a good vehicle.
Yeah.
All right, George, we're back and we're talking about you thought you could live off the cash flow of real estate, right? And I think a lot of times, sometimes people believe that. I mean, there was a time when I thought I could do that as well too.
Hmm.
I when I first started investing in real estate, I was doing a lot of rent to owns, and some of the cash flow was like $300 or $400. I'm like, okay, I need about maybe 40 of these to do it. But but people forget about maintenance and forget about that things
Yeah.
can happen. But anyways, continue on.
Well, you definitely can live off the cash flow. It's all about how you structure your portfolio. You can
Yep.
create anything you want. Because I know somebody that lives off the cash flow from an apartment building, and it sounds like an amazing strategy, and I think it's something that I might consider doing in the future. But to take like $200-300 a month from each property, I think that's a little bit tougher to do. I'm sure you can
100%.
do it. But like you said, I think for most people, you do need active income, at least initially. And then once you get to a certain point, like you've talked about in the past, where maybe you do private mortgages or you do stock options or you do something else, sell off a couple properties, take the cash and do that, then that's probably a more realistic approach.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the way that we're doing it, I think there's so many different ways of building your portfolio and then also taking a look at the future of where you're gonna land was for me, it was about building my portfolio using like real estate. That was the one thing that I saw is what was allowing me to outpace inflation.
Hmm.
Then as I continued to grow my portfolio, I realized that, well, I don't really like being a landlord, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody ever wakes up and says, oh, I want to be a landlord. You do it for something else,
Yeah.
right? There's a reason why you do it. And sometimes it's like you love hunting for the deal. You like taking a project from beginning to end. And then for me now, I'm moving more into offloading a couple of the properties, getting into private lending. So I'm still in the real estate space, but it allows me to it gives me cash flow. And then also creating like infinite banking, where now I'm also creating another vehicle where I can get some cash flow at the end, but also something now that's going to look after my portfolio when I'm no longer here and that my
Hmm.
kids aren't burdened with this, right? And so I say that to say this is that this is where it's really important to be sitting down with your team, a good accountant, a good lawyer to help you set up and structure that properly so that you're building a lifestyle and a legacy that makes sense for you. And
Yeah.
it can be done in different ways,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
It's not all going to be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to kind of share about that one guy that has the apartment building.
Yeah.
He bought a triplex maybe 10 years before buying the apartment building, sells the triplex, finds this building, tries to get somebody to partner with him on it, doesn't want to, so uses the cash that he has, and it's a student rental, and he makes a substantial amount each month. And then every 5 years, when it comes up for renewal, he just re-amortizes the loan. So he
Mm.
stretches out the amortization. It reduces his mortgage payment, and obviously, hopefully your rental income continues to increase over time, and he lives off the cash flow that way.
So he goes from 25, so it's 30 years, goes to 25 years. He
No,
goes back to 30 years?
no, it's actually 40 years because it's a
Oh, an
commercial.
apartment.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. But so he's going back to 40 years
yeah,
though.
going back to 40s, just stretching it out, stretching it out.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And explain to me, or actually more of the listeners, why that might be a good strategy. Because I think sometimes people say, well, you should pay the mortgage down. But it's also
Yeah.
he's got good debt.
You can talk to people who all they do is they buy properties and pay them down, and they do really well. So it just depends how much how much risk do you want to take on? What's your style? Do you make a ton of money each year and you want to invest it and pay things off, or Do you make less money and you just want to leverage your properties? Like there's so many different ways to do it. But
Right.
for him in that situation, I don't think he does that with all his properties, just this one particular one,
Right.
because he wants the cash to keep coming in and higher amounts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're also talking about some upcoming projects that you're looking at, and there was an interesting strategy that you've got for an apartment building.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, what is that?
Yeah, so I touched on this already a little bit about having the seller pay the closing costs. So
Yep.
I think at this point, and I'm not sure if you're seeing it out. You work out east, right? For the
Yep.
most part, yeah.
Yeah. So we do a little bit in Toronto.
Mhm.
I've got a team member that does some stuff in Toronto, then Durham,
Yeah,
and then Peterborough. Those
Yeah.
are kind of like our 3 hot markets that we focus on.
yeah. So the markets that I keep an eye on would be like Hamilton, Niagara, Brantford, and I'm seeing a lot of power of sales on
lot.
larger buildings.
Yeah.
So it could be anything from
Almost like apartment buildings.
yeah,
Interesting.
from 10 to like 30 units. I've seen a couple of them on the market.
Okay. So you're seeing them actually hit MLS as opposed to the back room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I guess the lenders want maximum exposure, right? The lenders that have taken the properties back.
Right.
I assume
Whether
that's
they're
what's happening.
first position or second
Yeah.
position, but yeah.
So on these properties, some of them are sitting because they've been listed a long time, or they've been overpriced for a long time, that sort of thing. And there's so much room to negotiate. And some of these properties, it gets to a point where they've reduced, where the cash flow, the DCR, debt coverage ratio, is starting to make sense, and the lenders are just kind of getting fed up and they just want to unload the property. So there are some pretty cool opportunities with that, especially if you combine a VTB in second position, because CMHC loans, like a CMHC standard program, can go up to 85% loan to value. And if you add a VTB in second position, you can go up to 90%, as far as I know, loan to value. So you might be entering this property with 10% down and possibly having your closing costs covered as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a pretty
Now, have
unique-
you done that yet, or is that something that you're looking at?
I'm trying it. I'm submitting offers. So
Okay.
I haven't had anything stick just yet,
Mhm.
but it's interesting to see the response. It's not like a hard no. It's okay, hold on, we'll think about it. Or
Right.
I had one recently where they got another offer after I tried to negotiate for it. We went back and forth a couple times, but they got another offer. So
Right.
that can happen too.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? You're not in a rush. You're taking your time,
Yeah.
and like again, what we talked about earlier, right? Like there's lots of opportunities out there. I'm
Yeah.
definitely seeing it. I think the hard part sometimes though is for like those beginning investors, like they're new to it and they're not sure if it's an opportunity or not. Number one, and then number two, because the news is spreading so much fear into the market, it freezes people from actually taking the deals out there and actually negotiate. Like a lot of times, all you do is just put an offer in and
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah.
That's it. We have an offer in on a property right now. Well, I can say it because this won't go live until we figure it out. We're down to it's like 260K. We might even get it down to maybe 220 or 225. Like
Yeah.
those deals are coming back again.
Yeah.
It's wild. Where
That must be, that's a single family home?
yeah, single family.
Yeah.
Yeah. That can either I don't know if you can convert that one, but they're looking at doing something a little bit different with it though, because there's so many different strategies out there. You got Airbnb, short-term rental, mid-term rental, but yeah, it's crazy to see that type of stuff back out there.
Yeah,
where people just want to get out of the game, and
Yeah.
this is where you can create the win-win.
Yeah. I picked up a triplex for 280 in May. And it was
Crazy.
vacant
Where?
too in Welland.
Wow.
Yeah, it was vacant as well.
Okay.
So it was actually occupied when I saw it, but then I
Yeah.
got vacant possession. So I was able to go in there, fix it up. The only thing that I'm seeing now out in Welland particularly, it's pretty hard to fill units. It's like the tenants, they're few and far between in terms of like high quality kind of tenants that
Yeah.
you would want. So that's been the challenge there. But aside from that, I mean, there's tons of opportunities out there too.
And you bring up a really good point, because people now really have to be careful in the type of properties that they're buying, where they're buying them, because this is going back to where things were when I first got into real estate investing, 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, where it was about buying good properties in good areas because vacancy rates were higher.
Yeah.
And you had to write good ads to attract the right people and the right family into these properties. And so now you're starting to see that happen again, where I'm seeing like property managers now list their listings on MLS. Before, all you had to use was just Kijiji, Craigslist,
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace. That was it. You didn't need the realtors. Where now that is starting to happen again because you need the exposure.
Yeah.
You need people. You need more eyeballs to see your property, and it needs to be a good property.
Yeah.
A decent property in a good location.
Yeah. In my experience, at least in the markets that I'm in, I feel like maybe 80% of my units have been filled through the property manager on Facebook Marketplace or like apartments.ca or whatever else. Usually they don't come from MLS, but I have had some because I said I'm a real estate agent, so sometimes I might list my own properties on MLS, and sometimes you find the right people, but sometimes it takes way longer to find somebody off the MLS than it does on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. I think the main thing really is making sure you're pricing your property correctly.
Yeah.
Because rents have come down significantly as well too,
yeah.
right? So, but in regards to the market, I want to dive and switch gears a little bit now into where you think the market might be going and where you're seeing opportunities. Like, what is it that you see, and maybe even opportunities, and also maybe even some caution.
So before I do that, I just want to say one more thing, which is kind of funny, but I don't know if you remember maybe 2-3 years ago, rental rates were skyrocketing. Like, things were going crazy
for rent.
Yeah. But then, like, even year after year, if you had a vacancy, the next year your rent might increase $100 a month or whatever. And I remember back then I was like, oh man, I have these like old rents that are way below now, and I'm trying to increase them so that they're at market. And now 2 years later, we're almost back to level, where it was back then. So it's interesting how the market fluctuates. You don't see this too often here, I guess, in Canada, because things are pretty steady. But it's so cool to go through this cycle where everything's coming down. House prices, rental rates, everything's coming down. So I love that we're getting to experience this, and we can have that moving forward.
It's actually interesting for you to say that, and I'm loving this. And I say this too. I enjoy this type of market because to me, number one, it allows first-time home buyers an opportunity to get into the market, which I think that's really important. You need them to be able to feel like I can get into a property and that I can call my own. I think that's incredibly important. Number two, to be able to put conditions in for financing and home inspection and due diligence and lawyer review and whatever else you want to put in there. You need time to take a look at the property that you're going to buy, whether it be for your own personal home or for an investment property, to analyze it properly and make sure you're making the right decision and to negotiate. That's how it should be. The way it was going before, you didn't even have to have any skill sets as a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You just listed at $599 and you're like, I don't know, let's see what happens. And all of a sudden you get $999. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's no skill in that whatsoever.
That's true.
Now, when I'm sitting down with a client and at the listing table, we now have to properly, strategically price that home. And also to get ahead of the market, because it's not a race up, it's a race down.
Right. You got to anticipate, well, what are things going to look like possibly in the next month or two? Are we going to have to, reduce the price potentially? Should we just account for that right off the bat? So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So, but I do like this market. I know a lot of realtors don't. And I don't even know what the number was. I know last year, I think it was like over 70% of realtors did zero transactions. I think we're probably around the same right now. But the ones who are experienced and the ones who are willing to put in the work, there's business out there. Yeah. But you just have to put the work in.
Yeah.
That's all.
So we'll get into your other question, which was like kind of anticipating the future, right?
Yeah.
What do we think is going to happen? I don't know about you, but I've had conversations about people who bought properties, pre-construction properties, and they still haven't closed on them. And they're coming up and they don't really know what they're going to do, how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
They paid a certain price and it's worth less now than it was what they paid for. So I think there's going to be some of that coming up in the future.
Yeah, I see that as a
I,
problem for sure.
yeah, I don't know how big of a problem that's going to be. I don't know how many people are in that situation. I don't have
Mhm.
stats on that. And then
I bet it's a
renewals.
lot.
You think so? Yeah.
I think so.
I
I
I don't
think
know.
so. I think there's a lot. Well, think about it, right? I mean, if there's a condo going up and it's not going to be ready for 5 years, 6 years,
Yeah.
7 years for some of them, who are most of those buyers? I would say probably 60, 70% of them are going to be investors. It might
Yeah.
even be higher.
Some of them are foreign investors too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you are a first time home buyer, do you want to wait 7 years or 6 years before you get into your property? Probably not. Maybe
Mhm.
some.
Yeah.
Like again, there's probably obviously a percentage of people that will do it because they're like, oh, I'll be ready in 3 years, but oh, it's actually 7 now.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of real estate investors that are caught up in that
Mhm.
mix.
Mhm.
I truly believe so.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some of them that I've heard too, and I know even personally that have bought 3 condos, 4 condos,
Right.
5. Yeah. How do you get out of that mess? You
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's going to be interesting. Then there's the mortgage renewals coming up as well
Yeah.
for the people that
The
signed in
largest.
2021, 22.
Yeah. I think it's the largest amount happening in 2025, 2026. I think it's like 50, 60%
Yeah.
from the
So
numbers I've heard.
I don't. I think I don't know if the market's going to rebound in the near future in the next 6 months, like some people are hoping. But I don't. We'll have to see what happens. I wish I could give you an exact answer.
Yeah, I don't know either, but look, I want to hear your predictions because here's what I think. When I take a look back at late 80s, early 90s, that was what, a good 7 years before things really kind of started to come back again, right? So, what, 96, 97, somewhere around there. And so right now, and I was talking about this number the other day, I mean, we're almost 4 years into this now. If you
Mhm.
think about it, like it started back in Feb 2022,
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
there.
When the
Feb
rates started
2026
shooting
is
up.
almost 4 years.
That's crazy. I
Yeah,
didn't even.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you think about it, we've been in this for quite some time
Yeah.
now. And so if history repeats or rhymes, I would think we probably got another good 3, 4 years.
Mhm.
I think you'll see some spikes here and there, but I don't see how next year is going to be any better. Actually, I think it might be worse. But it just depends on what side of the fence you're on,
Yeah.
or where you are in this marketplace. It's going to be worse for some people, and it's going to be great for other people
Yeah.
where there's some
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, I think everybody can only just focus on themselves and do what's
Yep.
best for them. And I think what I would like to do in the next, assuming you're right about the 3 years, I just want to position myself where I can level up my portfolio.
Yep.
So maybe trade some of my smaller properties and get into larger ones that fit
Yep.
my, I guess my goals a little bit better. So that's what I want to do. Just talk to as many people as possible, look at opportunities, study, analyze properties, do that, and just make sure that I come out in 2027, 2028 with a better portfolio than I have right now.
Yeah. Do you agree with that though, or do you think it's going to be shorter? Do you think it,
Less
like
than 3 years
3 or 4 years, or do you think it's going to be longer?
of like what you mean prices like
Yeah,
coming
like when
down,
all of a
or
sudden now, like you're like, okay, wow, we're moving up now. We're actually
prices are gonna
yeah.
increase. I don't know. Like I guess it depends what happens with rates too.
Mhm.
If the government keeps bringing rates down, then that might kind of help the economy a little bit, rebound a little faster. So it's hard to say because there's a
Yeah.
lot of moving parts.
Unless they drop the rates even more, which I don't believe they're going to much more, maybe one more, because you got to be careful too, because then you've also got inflation you got to worry about.
Mhm.
I think the bigger fear that I would have would be stagflation.
Right.
Stagflation would be a big issue where unemployment now all of a sudden spikes, and then you also got inflation going up as well
Mhm.
too. That could be a big issue because think of all the housing starts. There's hardly anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what happens when those developers, those construction workers are done building those condos or any of the low rise?
Mhm.
What are they going to do? Go build basements? There's only
Yeah.
so many basements you can build or
That's
do,
true.
right?
There are a lot of layoffs in that industry
Yeah.
too. So particularly anyone who worked for a developer, like they've had massive layoffs, but
Yeah.
also people that work with the union. As far as I know, just I'm speaking from personal experience, talking to these people.
Yep.
A lot of like plumbers have been laid off. People in the trades that were unionized, they're not working right now. I don't know how that works exactly, if they still get paid something, but
Yeah.
that could be problematic too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely something to. But look, at the end of the day, though, here's the one thing that I tell everybody: is it's always about being able to pivot and adapt,
Yeah.
and having different streams of income. I think people rely too heavily on one source of income. I did. I was, I used to be at TD Bank, and I was like, this is it. I got one source of income,
Hmm.
and I don't know if you heard my story, but then all of a sudden I realized, like, whoa, hold on a second. I saw all my coworkers around me getting fired, and I'm like, this ain't that secure.
Hmm.
You need other sources of income,
Yeah.
right, to protect yourself, whether it be through private lending, whether it be, I'm not saying to get rid of your 9 to 5, keep your 9 to 5, whether, you pick up one or two in real estate investment properties, but have different streams of income to protect yourself in a very fast moving world, especially with AI and the
Hmm.
way AI is moving as well too. Like, that can impact an economy very quickly and very fast.
Well, when you say that, I think about that guy that I was telling you about that had the lives off the apartment building.
Hmm.
That's a pretty cool thing because you're always going to have income from that, no matter what happens to the economy. Like
Yep.
people are always going to rent from you, so that's a pretty cool additional stream of income that you can create for yourself and something that you can count on.
That was one of the things that I heard early on when I got into real estate investing was that good times or bad times, people always need somewhere to live.
Hmm.
And so, having hard assets like real estate is always a good vehicle.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the one question you asked me early on: is one property good enough? And I think one can definitely change your life. I still
One
believe
like
that.
that for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's bringing in like 40 grand a month,
Yeah.
I mean, that can definitely change your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, what do you do now? So, obviously, you've acquired some good skill sets over the years to
Hmm.
acquire multiple different investment properties. But what about the mindset piece? What do you do when it comes there? Do you focus on the mindset at all? Are there books that you're reading? Are there podcasts that you listen to?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So mindset, I mean, obviously, if you don't have the right mindset, things can get. There's so much stress around what we do and just life in general. So
Yep.
making sure, it's a little bit harder with young kids, but I still try to focus on meditating,
Mm.
um, getting workouts in the morning.
Yep.
I like to listen to audiobooks, specifically biographies. So I've listened to a whole bunch, like Phil Knight, Shoe Dog, if you know the Nike story,
Okay.
Steve Jobs' his biography, Elon Musk. I like to listen to all kinds of them, and that just helps me because when I listen to those stories, I realize whatever I'm going through is not nearly as stressful as what they had to go through in their lives.
Yeah.
Like dealing like you're the head of a major corporation, major company. I mean, there's so much you can do for your mindset. I try to listen to certain podcasts, and yeah, you gotta stay sharp.
Yeah. Absolutely. What are
Yeah,
some of the best advice that you've gotten over the years?
I this always comes to me first, but it's always about running at your own pace.
Mm.
So just don't compare yourself to others and don't try to do what everybody else is doing. I think that's what got a lot of people in trouble in this example of
Yeah.
real estate in the last couple of
Yeah.
years.
That FOMO. That
Yeah,
FOMO is real.
yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, and you might go to an event and hear somebody has 40 properties, 80 properties, whatever, and you just feel like, okay, I got to do more. I got to do more, but sometimes you just got to figure out what's best for you and stick to that and run at your own pace.
Yeah, I agree. You know, there was a time when I was growing my portfolio very quickly, very fast. And one of the best things, and we talked about this earlier, is doing a podcast. 'Cause you get to sit down and talk to a lot of different people who have very unique stories.
Hmm.
And I was growing my portfolio very fast, and then I broke my leg, and then I'm like, why do I need so many properties?
Hmm.
I had to take a step back and really look at what was it that was important to me. I think sometimes in the chase, you forget why you're doing what you're doing. And I had to scale back. I'm like, yeah, I don't need all these properties. When's
Yeah.
enough? And then I started taking a look at different things. Like, what is it that I enjoy doing? And it's not to say anything from anybody else. It's like, again, like you're saying, like stay in your own lane or do what is right for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually enjoy mentoring. I actually enjoy coaching. I actually enjoy building businesses,
Hmm.
and so then I had to refocus on what it was that I really enjoyed, and then to also build the right team around me
Yeah.
in those different businesses to take it to just to see how they flourish and to help them and to have them be a part of what I was building, but also have pride in it as well too. And that for me is what I enjoy. But again, some people just really like yourself, like you love the hunt of finding a really good
Hmm.
deal,
Yeah.
which is I think is cool as well too, because I love sharing that story with my audience as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it, but again, I'm not just doing this for fun. Like I'm doing
Yeah.
it for a reason. I have certain goals that I'm going after.
What are they? You mind sharing?
Yeah. I mean, so when I first got started, I was pretty clueless. I was like,
Okay.
whatever, I just want to have a lot of properties.
Yeah.
But then I spoke to someone and he asked me, "What are you trying to accomplish?" And I said, "I don't know." And he's like, "Well, you should probably think about that. Take some time, really think." And then I realized, I want a certain amount of cash, or maybe not cash flow, but income every
Hmm.
month that I can live off of, so that I don't have to worry about getting a paycheck.
Hmm.
I can do all the things that I want to do with my family, my kids, my wife. So yeah, it's a monthly, let's call it maybe passive income that I'm going after.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, you also like to work hard, though. I can tell. Like you
Yeah.
enjoy the hustle. You
Yeah.
enjoy, doing building things as well. Do you think though, if you get to that passive income, that you can relax? I don't know if you got it in you. Do you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would completely relax, but I think it would just be like a weight off my
You're
shoulders,
right.
but I'm not sure how I'll feel when that happens. I think maybe I'll just want more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How far off? Well, it depends on what your why is too, because your why changes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now you want different things as well.
Yeah.
How far off would you say you are from your that goal?
I think
Oh,
it's pretty far right now because like the way that I'm going to get there, I think is in a couple of years I might sell off some of the smaller properties and just dump the money into something that's going to bring me the cash flow.
yeah.
So right at this moment, it's not like I'm slowly building up towards that. It's more, let me build my asset base, and then when I'm ready, I'll sell it and convert it into something that brings me what I need.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think you're still a little ways off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
sure. Especially with the way the market turned the last couple of years, like
Yeah.
it definitely set me back.
Yeah.
Set everybody back.
What about your wife, partner?
Wife. Yeah.
Yeah. What does she think about real estate investing? How do you guys work through the business? Because it's always an interesting thing
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
spouses are in that space together.
My wife's a realtor too. So
Ah,
she
okay.
understands. She
Okay.
understands real estate, but
Yeah.
she does.
Was she in the videos where you guys were doing videos together?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Those are good videos.
Oh yeah.
They were
Thanks.
funny.
Yeah. So yeah, she gets it.
Yeah.
And she's very supportive. So
Okay.
that's one thing that's always been great. If I tell her something, she may not understand all the numbers. Like
Yeah.
numbers aren't really her thing,
Okay.
but she trusts me, and she knows that, I'm gonna hopefully do what's best for our family.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so as a realtor, she is the one that's is she doing real estate investing, working with
No.
those? So it's just regular
Yeah.
residential real estate.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you buy your dream home.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a big hug at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But
And
that's
we're gonna
not
be
you.
friends forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. No, it's not really me. I did that for, like, I got licensed in 2013. I did that for a while, but then I realized, like, my passion is really going after these bigger properties, and
Yeah.
I love to run the numbers and negotiate the deals and come up with creative solutions. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're pretty close to the end here. Give us one last piece of advice for, say, somebody listening, and maybe they want to get into the game of real estate investing. What would you tell them?
Be smart. So surround yourself with the right people so that they can guide you along the way.
Yep.
And don't overanalyze, and just do it. Like for me, I feel like I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum of a lot of people, and I just kind of do things. I don't overanalyze. I just do it. And sometimes that gets me in a little bit of trouble, but I think overall taking action will lead to really good things.
Yeah, awesome. George, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming in. If people want to learn more about you or get in contact with you, or maybe partner with you, or whatever it may be, how can they get a hold of you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's g.invests. And you can also check out the podcast as well. So Well Off Podcast, if you want to listen to other, content like Gary's.
All right, awesome. Well, George, listen, like I said, thank you very much for coming in. I think it was a great conversation. I think people that were listening to us will get some good tips out of it and some good ideas and strategies, and hopefully not make the mistakes on the real estate investing journey if that's what they decide to do. So, thank you.
So
Appreciate
yeah,
your
thank
time.
you, Gary. Thank
All
you.
right, awesome.